Welcome back, Panther fans. I'm David Brown here with Ryan Graham,
Hey, y'all.
and this is State of Atlanta.
Oh,
And I forgot to get a beer.
Shit. Both of us. I have like half a beer left from my beer leading up to this. So, I'm like,
Yeah,
I was already, I wasn't thinking about opening a new one.
Yeah, I'm there with you. I wasn't thinking about it either. So anyhow, welcome back. It's cold. It's cold right now.
It is.
But you actually
my
have
wonderful office in here is also was once a garage, and the airflow in here is not stupendous.
I was going to ask if you actually had your air functioning because you have the beanie on, the hoodie on, and you're in what appears to be living space, whereas I'm in a unventilated basement.
Well, I put the hat on. I could get away without the hat. I just thought it was fitting for the cold weather, and I was
It is
like, you know
cold,
what?
and
I can go all the way upstairs for my cap, or I can just grab my beanie that I was wearing outside while we were attempting to sled earlier.
oh,
And
did you get enough for that? We didn't get nearly enough. We're not.
it wasn't enough. We tried. It was a valiant effort. I even jumped down like with the box like in my hands and tried to do it, and I went maybe 6 inches and just stopped and then got ice cold snow all over my face and hands, and I was like, you know what, maybe this isn't gonna work.
Yeah, didn't even attempt to do anything. Let the kids look at it today, and we didn't get out. And I went to the store, so
I went earlier. I went right before it started.
Got to see an accident. That was fun. So
yeah,
because people can't drive in the snow.
it seemed like traffic was kind of a bit of a shit show. So I was glad that I worked from home today. Like, they canceled school last night, which I thought was dumb.
They canceled school as well, and I took the day off, but they canceled school again tomorrow, which I knew they were going to. I got to figure out.
That actually makes sense. Today did not make sense. Today I would have picked up Lizzie before the snow started.
The bus would have arrived before the snow started here. So yeah, it was dumb. But Georgia is so afraid of what was it, 2017, when, or was that?
I don't know. I was in Montreal, so they were busy laughing at us, and I was busy explaining why what happens in Georgia happens in Georgia and doesn't happen other places.
We did have one somewhat of a casualty to the snow for Georgia State. Women's basketball game got moved up tomorrow. It was scheduled for 5:30. Now it's being played at 3. I don't know how that works because I don't think there's more snow coming.
It doesn't make any sense. Okay.
Yeah, I guess, we're playing Coastal. It's here. I guess maybe they want to get on the road. Coastal wants to get on the road earlier or something. I don't know.
I guess that could be it. That might be it. Who knows? Whatever. It doesn't make logical sense based on there must be some extra piece that we don't know.
I'm sure I would like to think there is.
I'm gonna assume that there is. That's a weird decision to make.
It's a weird thing because I even went and looked at the calendar, like the weather forecast. I'm like, are we expecting more snow? No, that was not the case. So that got moved up.
I still understand like tomorrow getting canceled because conditions are going to be icy, right? I mean, we all know that, and even my road out front, like there was snow. Now there's not snow. It tells me that it's wet. It's going to stay cold. It's going to ice over.
It's going to all ice over. That's going to happen. So what? Whatever. But
yep.
It's weird. It's weird to be getting this much snow here.
Two in a row, man.
2 back-to-back weeks. Yeah, it's crazy. Anyhow, so basketball sucks again.
Oh, we didn't stop sucking, dude. I tried to tell everybody. I tried to say it like 2 or 3 or what was it, 3-game streak? Because 2 is
3 games,
streak, right? 2 is not technically a streak. 3-game streak.
3 games a streak, yeah, and
we streaked.
We streaked. Well, we talked about it last week. These were going to be tough games. These were better opponents than what we've seen, and they proved it. They beat the snot out of us.
Yep.
So I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. We'll see what happens. We got 2 games here this week. I did run some numbers just to look at like how we've been performing, and we're barely winning our games compared to how bad we're losing them. Like in conference. Well, I'm going to exclude Lafayette because we beat the snot out of Lafayette, and that's the outlier in the data points, right?
Cool.
So if you don't count Lafayette, just conference games, our average win is 4.5. We're winning by 4.5 points. Our average,
Do you have with Lafayette too? Just for
yes,
like
11. We're winning
okay,
by 11.
alright.
But I mean, we only have 3 wins, so that 4.5 points means we've won our two conference games by a combined 9 points.
Mm, mhm.
And then without Lafayette, our loss is by 20. Well, I guess even with Lafayette because it wasn't a loss. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're losing our games by 20, and we're winning them by 4.5. So that's
Yeah, yeah. I mean, so we're, like, winning against some of the teams we're supposed to win against, we're losing
mhm.
against some of the teams we're supposed to win against, and we're losing against all the teams we're supposed to lose against.
Yeah,
That's just not a good recipe, right? That's just not good. That's not good.
I think that this week the games against Marshall and Jimmy Madison will be a good, indicator of where we are because we still because they're not doing much better than we are. I think Jimmy Madison's got 3 wins and Marshall's got 4. Where we're at 3 wins, so we're right there around the same point. So we'll see. I think that when we play Marshall on Thursday, whatever happens that game, it's gonna be the exact same thing that happens on Saturday against Jimmy Madison. I
I'm
think so.
I'm
If
kinda
we
done
lose
with every
Thursday,
game.
we're gonna lose
I
on
mean,
Saturday. If we
I've seen enough
win on Thursday,
indicators.
we may win on Saturday.
I've seen enough indicators. We're gonna lose probably.
Yeah, probably so. I mean,
But if
they're
we
home
win, it'll
games
be
at
weird.
least. I mean, Hayes has been a lot better at home than he's been on the road. So, not that we have like that really big of a home field advantage, but for whatever reason, his wins have come in the box versus on the road. And we only have what do we have? 5 home games left. 2 of them are this week. 5 home games left, and 7 away games left, including 4 games on the road in the season. Because again, Sunbelt does not know how to operate a calendar.
And it's not so much that he's, like, better at home, as much as he is just dog shit away.
Exactly.
Like, the away games I mean, it's insane. We had entire is it multiple seasons now? I mean, we haven't won one away now, have we?
We have, I think, over the course of Hayes's career, we have like three, 3 to 5 away wins in conference.
We have an entire season of 0 away wins.
Yeah,
I know that. I don't know where
yeah,
we are right now with these away wins. Um,
right.
but we have a
I could be
previous
wrong on that.
season with him where 0 wins away. That's crazy. That's nuts.
It's
I mean,
wild.
it's insanity. Like, you just can't build a program like that.
Do so. Somebody was making a comment on Panther Talk about Dr. Blake, being at the games. Dr. President Blake, sitting courtside at all the games. Do you think he just doesn't pay attention to the away games? And so, since he sees a couple of wins at home, he feels like we're probably winning a few games on the road as well, and doesn't realize how bad it really is.
I don't think he cares.
No, he doesn't care at all. I mean,
I think he's apathetic. I think he shows up because it's his job to show up, and, I think he
is
probably
it?
likes basketball some, but I don't think he cares how the program does.
You think it's part of his? I don't think it's part of his job to show up. It's part of Charlie's job to show up. It's not part of Blake's job to show up.
I think you can either make it part of your job or you can not make it part of your job, and I think that he's made it part of his job to show up. I think that he thinks he's supposed to show up as the president to the major, basketball and football games, and so he does.
Here's why I think that he does it because he wants to do it versus obligated to do it. Because Becker came to games, but Becker sat in the stands with everybody else. He didn't sit courtside.
Mhm.
But
That's
Blake
true.
goes and he wants to have that best seat in the house. He goes and sits courtside. He goes back in
Mm,
that hospitality suite. He hangs out. He's enjoying it versus Becker, who just
mm.
kind of fit in with the rest of the fans that were there.
I like the Becker attitude better. Like, he was there because he loved it. He was just another fan in the stands, right? He even
Hmm.
showed up in his leather jacket. He looked dressed down. If you didn't know what Becker looked like, you might miss him. But Doctor President Blake, he shows up. He's wearing his navy suit. He's always front and center. He wants to be seen there.
Yeah.
And so it's less of a fandom thing. And I'm just making shit up, right? I don't know. He's never
It does
spoken to me
seem
about
like
this.
that corner where he sits in that entryway, like to go out to the hospitality area.
Mhm.
It seems like they do always have some people there, like they're trying to like some big wigs or something like they're trying to show off. Or because I think that the Summer Hill people, the people that manage the Summer Hill development, all
Oh,
the
maybe
restaurants and everything, they tend to be
Carter.
sitting right there on that by the basket over there, or I've seen them before. It seems
Yeah.
like there's always some kind of people that they're kind of showing around or something in that area. Maybe he has
Yeah.
something to do with that. I don't know.
I don't either. He does come to all the games though, and like I said, I'm making shit up. It's just what I read. And
Yeah.
obviously I haven't had any conversations with him, so he might just love it, and he might really care, and he might be on the phone every single day screaming at Cobb. I don't think so though.
Well, yeah, Cobb's not sitting anywhere near him. Cobb's either sitting up in the the seats behind the basket over there, or he's over in the other tunnel going out on the other side of the basket from where Blake is. I've never seen them actually converse at all during a
I don't
game.
think I've seen them converse either.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. It seems to me like from the top down, people don't care about results right now, and that sucks.
Right. Yeah.
Just the feeling I get. Prove me wrong.
Back to my little numbers that I ran. So yeah, we've won our 2 conference
It's
games
a good
outside of
sized
Laf
number, David. You don't have to belittle yourself. It doesn't have to be little.
outside of our
It's
2
an
losses.
average number.
Sorry, outside of Lafayette, our 2 wins, we've won our 2 wins by a combined 9 points, but our losses by a combined 60 points.
Jesus. Ugh.
Yeah, it's just not pretty. You can't, the weird thing is, even in these wins, we'll get down like 13, 15, 16 points and then somehow come back and win it. So you never can really count us out. We get down, although I think it was really bad. Who was it? Was it Texas State or was it Arkansas State? I think it was Arkansas State. We gave up like 25 unanswered points or something ridiculous like
Oh
that.
boy, it was Coastal in the first 30 minutes too. Just like went off on us, and we were all like, "Oh well, this is going to be a game," and then we won somehow.
Yeah, Coastal's garbage. They only have like 1 win in conference. I think it's over Monroe,
Yeah, but they
who's
were just running right over us for the first part of that game.
yeah, they were. They
So,
were. Fortunately, we do have Monroe, who's sitting at 0-7 in conference, coming to town in a few weeks,
oh,
couple of weeks.
they're gonna be here. We're not going there. That's great news. So we actually have
Exactly.
a chance.
So you're saying there's a chance that'll be the game we lose by 50.
Well, we can
So,
we can we can always lose at home, but we're not gonna win away. Is really
no.
where I'm going. So
Yeah, so it will be interesting because we're playing Marshall on Thursday, and then again, scheduling geniuses in the Sun Belt, we play Marshall exactly 1 week later in Huntington. So we'll see
one
them.
week at least is like not like a
There's
Thursday
one other game in
Friday.
between. We have Jimmy Madison in between, then we play them again up there. So
Hmm.
if we can get it here, even it out when we lose up there. So we're looking
Uh,
at, I said we have five more home games. The best case, we get 8 wins in conference, and we
um,
win all the home games. But like some of those away games or some of those home games, I don't know. We'll
I
see. We'll see how
yeah.
Thursday
No,
and Friday.
we're not in good shape, man.
No, we're
I mean,
not. We're not.
and what I made up I said I was making up stuff. I don't know how much the president cares. Um, but at the end of the season, looking at the results, if we still have, a head basketball coach right away or not, we'll know. Because I
I
don't think
would.
you can look at this program and look at the results from the last past what 3 or 4 seasons. Is it 3 seasons now?
This is the 3rd season
This is
of
the 3rd
Hayes.
season. Look at the last three seasons and say, "This is the guy we need heading up our basketball program." If you
Right.
do, you can't care. I mean, like, no matter if you say you do or not, like, it it's a problem.
Well, I mean, I guess the question that I have is, you know, does it matter if we fire him in season or out of the season? Like, if he's going to get fired, I'm going to be frustrated if we make it through the entire season and then like that day after we're out completely, or the day we lose our first game in the playoffs in the conference tournament, that he's fired then. If you're gonna fire him now. Like, let's go ahead and let the program know, let recruits know that this is not the kind of you know uh, performance that's tolerated at Georgia State. After
Yeah,
Hunter and Lanier, we have higher expectations, and 2.5 seasons in, and he's just not showing any legit signs of improvement. Let's let everybody know that the job is open. We get the first pick at first pick. You know, we get anybody that's going to be out there looking for a new job. They know that we're out here and we're looking to begin talking to people. I mean,
yeah.
hopefully Cobb's already talking to people, but
I mean, always, right? You
yeah,
hope.
yeah.
cop
Oh.
cares either. I just
It seems like it's a lot of extra work to fire somebody and then hire somebody else. Plus,
it
if you
really
hire
is. It really is.
the saving grace is like, if you fire him, then it's kind of an admission that you messed up, you didn't do your job correctly. However, on paper, Hayes was a slam dunk hire.
Yeah, yeah, we love it. You can go back and look at the record. We were all super excited about Coach Hayes. We thought
Everybody was, all
he
the
was a
media,
great,
like,
awesome hire.
yeah, I remember them saying, "This is not just a grand slam. This is out of the ballpark, hitting the
Uh-huh.
cars in the parking lot. This is the best hire you get," and it's just not turned around, and you can't even
Sometimes it
blame.
happens, and you gotta be willing to admit it.
Yeah, and you can't blame things like facilities anymore because he came in to get to open up the brand new arena,
Yep.
the brand new convocation
Salute
center. So it's
against
so
Georgia
like
Tech. Cool.
everything we said was why you could not win at Georgia State has been taken away from him.
Mhm.
Hunter proved that you could win. Lanier proved that you could maintain. You have a brand new facility,
He's had
state
a
of
few
the
years
art.
to build his own roster.
Yeah. So yeah,
Everyone else is dealing with the transfer bullshit too. So, like, like, I'm not I don't want I hate it when people blame that. They're like, "Oh, well, everybody's transferring out and transferring in." Okay, well, that's happening everywhere.
yeah.
Everywhere in the Sun Belt, that's happening across the board. Why are we not competing with them when it's happening to them too?
I mean, we're bringing in, like you said, we've had a brand new roster for the past 3 years. He is bringing in people. He's getting in recruits. I don't know if it's NIL. We haven't. McGee's been very very vocal about needing money to win championships, and I have not heard Hayes talk about NIL as much as McGee has, either for it or against it, or just it being part of the game now.
Yeah.
Is it just not something that we're paying as close attention to in basketball? And we're losing guys because it doesn't seem like it. I haven't seen or heard anything about it that it seems like guys are going for payday, leaving for paydays, or trying to,
Yeah, no,
can't
I
get
haven't seen
anything.
any of
I
that.
don't know.
But if he's not up on it, then, like, that's the reality of basketball today. So you gotta be up on it. So
Right.
I don't know.
Speaking of NIL, there was a $17,000 donation
Hell yeah.
anonymously made.
Hell yeah. I'll take
I
it.
wonder if it's really anonymously made because if you're gonna donate that kind of money, are you really gonna go to that Give Butter site and pay it and have the credit card fees, or are you just
They're
gonna
not
like
doing that with $17,000. They're working closely with the people who are taking the donation, and they're not.
right?
Yeah, they're not doing give butter.
No, so it's anonymous because they didn't want to be named.
It's anonymous to us. It's not anonymous to them.
Yeah, yeah, like Mike knows who it is. He
Yeah,
he he cashed that check. So but if you're anonymous, then if you don't want to be known who you are, is it somebody we know?
probably not.
Somebody that's just a common fan that's just dropping 17. And I wonder, that's a weird 17,500. That's an odd number to donate. Like I wonder if that was like to get a certain player or to pay for a certain thing. Like
I hope so, because that would indicate that the All Blue All Nil is doing a really good job with the fundraising. Is
I
one
think
of
it's
the things
all blue, all NIL. It's not all blue, all nil. All blue, all NIL. Sweet.
well,
That's what it
I'll be excited
sounds.
when they prove me wrong, but until then, it's All Blue All Nil. Um,
Because it's the way it sounds. It's supposed to be all blue, all NIL.
I I know, but unfortunately for them, it's All Blue All Nil. I mean,
All right, we'll have to get Mike to come on or to post something to tell us how it's supposed to be said. Well, sorry,
it probably
this
is. You're probably right, but
I'm
I'm looking
100%
at it
right.
and I look at All Blue All Nil.
I'm 100% right.
I think you're right.
I'm a
But it's
hundred percent
easier for
right.
me to say it. So, and I'm gonna say it. So, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I don't remember what I was gonna say now. I don't remember the point I was making. God damn it.
Oops. I'm sure it was groundbreaking.
It probably was, man. I mean, the brilliance that comes out of this brain on a minutely
Oh,
basis
I
is
forgot to say this at the beginning of the show. Tim's not here because he's living it up large on his birthday. Today's his actual birthday in the Galapagos Islands.
he's out
So
petting turtles and shit.
exactly. So happy birthday, Tim.
If there was a
Wish you,
panther on the
I would
Galapagos
say
Islands,
wish you
he's
were
probably
here, but
petting
I
it
wish I
too.
was there.
I know, it sounds cool. It sounds
That
super
sounds
cool.
awesome.
Very
I actually
jealous.
I did think about, but I didn't have time because my kids were here all day long. I was going to take that little photo montage thing at the beginning, and I was going to replace it of all pictures of Tim to do it and be like for his birthday, but I didn't have time to do it. So as they say, it's the thought that counts. I thought about doing something special and
Mhm.
I just didn't do it.
You could just
So
name the episode "Happy Birthday, Tim."
yeah.
He's not here. Uh,
I don't really have anything else to say about basketball. We've talked about what's going on, what's happening every week, and we lost two more. Winning streak came to an end. Don't know what to expect going forward. We'll see how things go on Thursday and Saturday. Hopefully Saturday's a little bit warmer. Maybe we can get out before the game for a few pregame
what
drinks. But
what what are our home games? You said Thursday?
Thursday got at a decent hour, 7 o'clock, I think is what it is, instead of like that dumb 8:30 crap that we had with TDS.
Well, I will be kidless and partnerless, so I'm, like, good to go on Thursday. Saturday, I gotta get Denver from the airport at, like, I don't know, 5 AM or something crazy, and I'm not super excited about that, but I imagine I'll sleep some more.
I have these things called Uber, but
I know, but I promised her, and
I know I
I have her
you can't
car, and she told me I could drive it on Thursday, and
no, you can't do that. You can't do that. All right. Well, we'll get out there Thursday night and we'll see what happens on Saturday. Saturday's
yeah.
4 o'clock. 4 o'clock on Saturday.
I'm gonna I would like to do that. I'm just playing it by ear. Thursday, I'm in.
I think weather's supposed to turn around. It may be a little wet, but I think they'll be back into the 50s and stuff like that come this
Oh,
weekend.
that'd be
So
nice.
yeah, yeah, especially around 4 o'clock. All right. We mentioned the women's basketball team. I just want to give them a shout out because they beat Trash Down South in three
Hooray.
overtimes. 3 overtimes.
You know what?
I,
Whatever it takes. I don't care.
It doesn't matter.
Kudos.
But
Hooray.
I thought this was gonna be one of those things where I messed everything up. I put the game on when I saw it was getting close and we were ahead, and then we missed we took a three for the win. I think we were tied. We missed it, and so it goes in overtime. But if we would have gone for something a little bit more an easier shot, and then it goes into 3 overtimes. But either way, we won the game. That's all that matters. TDS lost, and
Hell
it
yeah.
was down there too. Winning is always great against them, but when you can leave Statesboro with a win is even better.
And it's almost like you gave it to him a little bit, like, right? You were like with the fishing pole, with the dollar,
Yeah.
and you're like,
Well, the
almost
thing
got
is,
it, almost got it.
I went back and looked while the game was going on. I went and looked at the box score. We scored 5 points in the second period. 5 points in the
That's not a
second
lot
period.
of
Like if
points.
we just,
That's not
I
enough
forget how many
points.
they had, but they had more than twice five. They had 11, 12, 15, something like that, whatever it was. And I'm like, if we could have just figured out a way to get a single basket in, one more basket in the second period.
Man, this sounds like a defensive struggle.
Yeah.
I hope there were a lot of blocks or something. I don't know.
I don't know. It's some of the most I've watched of women's basketball.
Or
So
maybe they just can't shoot either. Who knows?
yeah. Hired a new running back coach.
You told me right before this podcast came on, and I thought that was cool. What happened to our last running backs coach?
He gone.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
saw one of our coaches went to Alpharetta High. Is
Oh
that the
yeah,
same?
he's a coach at Alpharetta. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, he went to Alpharetta, is what I think.
Yeah, he went to be a coach at Alpharetta.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, not head coach.
I don't know if it's head coach or not. I don't know. I just saw that
Oh,
he went there.
is that the running backs coach? Was that our previous running backs coach?
No, I
Okay,
don't
I
know.
just saw
I
somebody.
don't ask me crap like that.
I just
No,
I
this is
looked it up. I looked up Georgia State football when you told me that earlier today, and then that was the first news story that popped up was the guy who went to Alpharetta. So I
yeah.
was like, "Oh, okay, that's weird." And then I had to like really dig in to get Enrique Davis's name.
Enrique Davis from Ole Miss. I think it's interesting whenever you get a coach from like a team you're playing, like your very first game.
Yeah, well, and maybe there's connections there we don't know about, I guess.
Yeah.
When I googled him, I don't know a ton about him. It seems like he was a player very recently, and so he's a young guy.
He was a running back at Ole Miss, and then I don't know what happened immediately following that, but he was a running back coach at Western Kentucky
Yeah,
before coming to Ole Miss as one of those football analyst guys.
and you can have great coaches be analysts. I mean, you got previous head coaches at SEC schools are analysts right now because
Right.
there's not
Right.
enough jobs out there. I guess I don't know, but
So it's cool. The thing that really just stood out to me was the fact, obviously we got another coach from an SEC program, which is always nice. But then, it being Ole Miss, our very first game, that just, there's already that connection there to the team, knowing
Mhm.
something about them. Or it could be a plant. Maybe maybe this is Lane Kiffin's dirty way of doing ball. He sends an analyst out to be a coach here, and then gets all of our secrets. He
That would
feeds it
be
over there.
absolutely ridiculous. But,
Out of
um,
all head coaches that do it, Lane Kiffin would be the one that would you
I
could
know,
see
I
doing.
know, I know. And here's why that makes me happy. Because I have been saying for a little while, that we should cheat a little. And that cheating a little is not necessarily a bad thing. You get a slap on the wrist. We don't want to do an SMU death penalty
No,
cheating or anything like that, but we need somebody who's willing to color outside the lines a little bit. And maybe a protege of Lane Kiffin in the worst.
right,
Don't
exactly.
burn it down, but bend the rules a little, color
And
outside the
then just the
lines a little.
exposure you get, like, could you imagine if like that whole Michigan cheating scandal thing happened at like Georgia State, and like now like it's all over ESPN about recording games and players on the sidelines and all that kind of crap.
Well, I don't think Michigan cheated. I know plenty of people
Well,
disagree
but
with me
all the
about that.
but I'm just
Lane
saying the
Kiffin
attention.
100% cheated lots of times and has been caught and has set multiple programs on fire because of it. Major programs. If he had done the same thing at a Georgia State, we wouldn't have been lit on fire. We'd have momentum. We would have been blasting off. That would have been the
Exactly.
explosion we needed to shoot this rocket into the stratosphere.
The stratosphere.
Yeah, you hear me? My big word. I almost cussed. I was cussing, but I withheld. So
We withheld, yeah. So no, interesting. So
So anyway, I think that's good, and I also like the idea of like a young coach. Just a lot of there's energy there. There's the lack of experience can be considered a good thing. I think some of these guys get set in their ways and don't really know how to work a program like Georgia State. I think a young guy comes in and learns at Georgia State, then they're learning how we work more,
yeah,
and I think that's good.
I
And
like
it's
just
gonna be a
seeing the
net positive
coach.
for us.
I don't like seeing the coaching change up from McGee after 1 year. He saw things
Mhm.
that he didn't like, and he made adjustments. He made changes. So I like that.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
I agree.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah. Being willing to make a flip, right? I was wrong. I'll flip this, or
this did not work. Let me
mhm,
try something else. Let me try
mhm, mhm.
someone else and see what we can do to make it work here.
Right.
So, that's all I got Georgia State specific, but there was a little other Sunbelt news. Marshall got fined $100,000 by the Sunbelt for missing out on that bowl game that they had committed to.
That's, I don't know. There's rules around that or something. Like
Well, I guess I think there's an NCAA fine that's also going to be coming along with it or something. I'm not sure exactly, just because of all the logistic changes that have to happen and finding another school to replace and all that kind of crap. But
they
it's the
invited the next up, and the next up was like, hell yeah, we'll do it. I mean, it's not
right.
that hard.
It's you would one would think, but I guess they some kind of discouragement, some kind of penalty, whatever. I just think it's BS with the portal being the way it is right now.
It got
That
announced they lost their entire team.
they it
I
was
know they
said
didn't
that
lose their entire team, but like they
they had
lost a
41. They
lot.
had at the time that they, if I understand this correctly, at the time that they said that they could not participate in the bowl for player safety, they had 41 rostered players.
That's what I was gonna say. Is it even safe for that many players to play
Exactly, and that's what he
four
said.
quarters of football? And if they're fining them over that, does the NCAA actually give a shit about player safety?
And that was the exact reason they gave player safety. We cannot field a team, because we lost a coach, which again they screwed up by not re-signing their conference champion coach. But coaches leave all the time. That
Well, they can't
that
control that. He
that was
paid his
yeah,
out,
and
and
there's a lot of players that left with him and just left because he was not going to come back, or just left because of the way the portal is nowadays.
those are all
So
NCAA rules that allow it.
like the conference lost out in like $2 million that would have been spread across the all the other teams in the conference and everything, which that sucks. But putting Marshall on the hook for $100,000 because of something that was really outside their control, in my opinion, just
Yep.
seems kind of BS to me. And then to have the NCAA come down and have another fine or another penalty to go along with it.
I agree. Total horseshit. I think let the kids and the coaches do the free transfers. I'm cool with it,
Yeah.
but the fallout is going to be sometimes these games aren't going to work out for you, and maybe the answer is coaches and players can only transfer in this window, and it's after the bowl season. Whatever. Like that's cool,
Yeah,
but
but
like
do you think that
set it up.
I've thought about that too, like, the portal doesn't open until the last bowl game is played or national championships play, which really messes up with academic. You couldn't enroll in the spring semester and stuff like that.
Nobody cares about academics anyway. So like,
But
let's stop
it's
even
still
acting
part
like
of
we
it.
care about
It's still
that.
part of it.
Like,
But that doesn't mean a player is not gonna be like, "Oh, just because I can't enter the portal now that I won't be entering come this period," so they can still just opt out. I mean, we already had several players always opt out of games, especially those that are gonna go into the NFL and stuff like that.
mhm,
They so it's gonna happen. But you create a system whereby a player can just hop to a different team, and I'm not arguing that they should not be able to do that, but when you have that system in place, this is gonna happen.
mhm,
Marshall is just the first of many examples of when teams get to a point where they don't have enough players to field a team, and they're gonna miss a bowl game.
yep.
And what happens when they miss a conference championship game?
No, you're absolutely right. There still should be like team limits on number of people that you can have on scholarship on your team. I assume those are still in place. So like
Yeah.
there should still be some balance in there. Like, did the coach that left like just clear out a bunch of scholarships where he went and then bring in like 40 players? Like
I
what
don't
happened?
know I don't know how many exactly, but just from following along on the Sun Belt message board, it sounds like Coach Huff took several players with him to Southern Miss.
Yeah,
At least that's what
but you can
the
only have 85 scholarship players at
right.
any given
Yeah,
time.
but, Southern Miss also, they lost a ton of players when, their coach was fired and
Yeah,
their
yeah,
end of
yeah,
their season as
yeah,
well. Plus you're graduating seniors and all that kind of jazz. So
yeah.
that was gonna happen
This
anyways.
seems like a lot. I mean, like,
Yeah.
usually you're going for, like, a quarter of your, if you're balancing correctly, you're replacing a quarter of your roster every year, right?
Well, hell, look at us. We brought in, like, McGee brought in 50 something players last year and 50
It's true.
something players this year.
Yeah,
So it's
because a lot
not
of
like it
people are
was.
leaving
It
too.
was
Yeah,
that
you're
that
right,
was
you're right.
I mean, you did the recruiting stuff, a long time ago, but that was like it was like 25 players a class or something like that, right? You couldn't
Yeah,
bring in
yeah.
whatever that number was or something like
I
that,
think
and
they
like
got rid of that a long time ago, though.
but that was one of our problems we had was, that Curry had mismanaged the roster to the
Mhm.
point where Miles could not bring in enough people to replace those that had left or
Yeah,
something like that,
something
something
like
like
that.
that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, yeah, so,
It
I
was
don't know.
weird because you gotta manage it where, like, because you have to weigh, like you were saying, the seniors that are leaving versus what you like, the attrition, and attrition is harder to measure right now probably, because we just don't know what that looks like yet. It'll be easy after a couple of years of this, we'll know exactly what attrition averages are, and you can start planning around it, but right now it is very difficult to plan around because who the hell knows?
Right, I think that, like you said before, the contracts and NIL, there's gonna be something where NIL and portal becomes, tied together, and this money is contingent on staying with the team and entering the portal, you lose some money or something like that. I mean,
That makes the most sense to me. I mean,
they've gotta work hand in hand. You got them both you got them both at the same time, make them work together. Players only get paid if they stick around, like, you
yeah.
can't just, "We're gonna pay you $1,000,000 to come play here." Alright, be it's $1,000,000 over the course of the 4 years, like that Michigan kid.
You gotta play here. Like,
Yeah,
if you cease playing here, you will cease receiving this $1,000,000.
yeah,
You'll
yeah,
receive whatever portion you earned when you played here,
yeah,
basically, or and minus whatever penalties for breaking the contract. Because
right.
I would expect any contract for NIL, if I was writing it, I would be trying to do 4-year contracts, 5-year contracts, whatever the max is.
It's the same way that, coaches have it. If they leave, they gotta pay a early, fee to go somewhere else, and if we fire them early, we have to pay them for
Right.
breaking the contract.
Or whatever school they go to ends up paying the penalty, on
Yeah.
their behalf, whatever, and then we get to use that money for the next. And I mean, I think that system works pretty well. I'm into
I
it.
know there's some rules around the way the NIL is established by the NCAA. I don't know how much of that can be done in the way it's structured now,
Yeah. It's not
but
clear to me either.
it's gotta be fixed because this is gonna be a continuing problem
Yeah.
all the time. Like, hell, just when you have people, like, in the middle of this it was the Trash Down South guy, like, 6 games into the season, he's like, "I'm entering the portal." Like, like, "Alright,
Right.
so you're just gonna sit you're not gonna play for the rest of the season," and, it's just weird.
But you gotta
We did
imagine
lose it.
coaches pick up on that stuff. They're like, "Oh, you're gonna choose not to play? I'm just not going to sign you now." Like, a smart coach would just be like, "Oh, no, I don't want you here." Like,
Yeah.
if that's gonna be your attitude, I'm not paying you to show up. Why would I do that?
Right.
There's enough other players out there willing to put in the work regardless. So why would I pay you?
Yep. I agree.
Hopefully, it balances out in that you get some of these bad scenarios early on as people figure out what's happening, and then coaches sort of start sniffing this stuff out, and they're not going to recruit people that they know are just using this as a jumping stepping stone. Um, who aren't going to put in the work here. I'm okay with you even using it as a stepping stone. I've said that about coaches for years too. Use us as a stepping stone. If we're not a stepping stone, we're doing something wrong.
Oh yeah, that's why
Players too, then whatever. Cool.
when McGee got here, I was like, if we have him for 5 years, then something went wrong.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
if he's here for 5 years, it means we're not winning, and we've become complacent with what he has been doing.
Right.
So
Yep. So, I'm big, and you'll see me. I'm going to try to be really consistent. For definitely call me out. I think things with coaches and players should be very similar as far as like what program you're in, and they should just be held to very similar standards, if not the exact same standards.
yep. At that point, you are basically making the. I mean, they're being treated like employees, and so then
Yeah.
now are they employees? And if they're employees, then they got to be on a salary type system or an hourly type system or something like that, and opens up a whole other can of worm. And then
Ah,
there are they even like you made a comment about academics not mattering anymore. Are they student athletes? Now it's completely
they don't have
minor
to be
league.
W-2 employees. They could be contract, right? I mean,
Yeah.
hey, NFL, whatever. NFL players don't work hourly, right? I mean, I don't work hourly.
Like, all contractors effectively. They get
Yeah,
their
but it would be like over X number of years, we're gonna pay you this
yeah,
much every 2 weeks, whatever. Like, that's what my offer letter said, right? And you
yeah.
just do the same thing. Who cares? That's fine.
My first salary job, they like just because you're salaried, like same company, I went from hourly to salary, and they're like, you're expected to work more than 40 hours a week now. I'm like, all right, whatever.
Yeah, the reason I quit Manhattan Associates is because they literally said, "We don't care about your output, but because you're not logging the same amount of hours as this other person, you'll never get promoted above them." And I'm like, "That's crazy."
Was it a billable thing, billing to the client?
No, nope. It was just
Uh,
perceived effort, right? People
mhm.
looking at the numbers, and I was like, "Oh, this isn't the company for me." Like, you agree that I output more and better product than that person, but because they put in log 60 hours a week and I only log 40 hours a week, they
Yeah.
were better than me. Well, then I see what you value, and I'm out.
Deuces. And like
Yep.
that, I think that we're done for this week.
And we're out.
I think so. I mean, I got nothing unless you have something else. I don't think I had anything else on my slate to talk about.
I didn't really have anything else. Last call might be a little barren.
It could be. It could be. Well, speaking of, thanks, bye for listening. We're going to pop another drink, hop on to last call, a little bit about this episode and whatever else comes to mind. And you can find us there on our Patreon page, free of charge, patreon.com/state of Atlanta. It will come out a little delayed if you're not a paying member. If you want to join in for $5 a month, do that. Also get access to our group chat, discounts on the merch, and other stuff that we can do for those that decide to chip in to help us pay for the show. So thanks, Bye for listening. Say goodbye, guy.
Goodbye, guy.